Hi everybody, welcome back to another lesson in my Czerny's Opus 599 for solo learners online course. In this video we're going to learn number 16, which is all about 16th note or semiquaver rolls. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already done so, and if you like what you see, give this video a thumbs up. Also, I offer online piano lessons if you're looking for one. There's going to be information below, and if you'd like to get this special edition of Czerny's Opus 599 specifically for solo learners, there are going to be links to that below too. So this piece is still in the 5-finger position. It's building on number 15 and number 14. It's using the same left hand pattern and it's combining legato and staccato in the right hand, but this time we have 16th notes or semiquavers, and these are rolled in a sequence, so they're always stepwise motion going. There's no skipping, it's stepwise motion all the way through, and these rolls usually end on a staccato. And this is very common in piano playing, and it's a special way of playing them, because when you play a roll of 16th notes, you don't accent every single note, you think of it as one group, you send it off and you bounce up at the end. So it's more like a roll as opposed to a sequence of equal notes, and it's going to make more sense in a second. As you could hear in the performance, I played it quite fast, not too fast, but the piece is quite an exercise in dexterity, velocity and agility. Having said that, as always, start very, very slowly and make sure it's very even and you don't have any tension. If you can play it slowly and evenly at a slow speed, only then start going a little bit faster every time as your hands allow you to. Let's have a look at the first section, which is until the repeat sign, and first let's have a look at the left hand. We are in the key of C major, common time 4/4, and both hands are still in the treble clef, so left hand starts at the middle C and right hand an octave higher. The left hand is following the same pattern as in number 15, where we have two-part writing, holding down the first note, the whole note, while playing the upper part of the chords as quarter notes. Be careful with the rest. On the first beat, hold down the little finger and play the upper notes. Let's go with the chords first, so let's block them out before adding the pattern. We start with a C major chord. The second bar is again a C major chord, C, E, G. Then we have a G chord, B, D, G, and back to C. Another C chord, another C chord, and then a G7 chord, B, F, G, and back to C. And that's the chords. Now notice how my hand is very rounded, my fingers are curved, and I'm trying to keep my wrist as soft and flexible as possible and really concentrating on these three notes going down together, as opposed to where one of the notes goes down a little bit later. So be very careful that all the notes of the chords are played perfectly together. Now let's add in the pattern. So we're going to hold down the first note of each bar. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So playing the top part of the chords whilst the bottom note is being held, and in the next bar you restride the bottom note. Now the top two notes are staccatos, so let's bounce on them a little bit. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And that's the left hand. The right hand is where we have the big challenge in this piece. So we stay in this 5-finger position from C to G. And as you can see, we have 4 16th notes or semiquavers in every beat. So those 4 notes have to fit into one beat. So it's very important to understand the rhythm before you even attempt playing the notes. We can say the rhythm like tiri tiri ta, where the tiri tiri are the 4 16th notes, or you can say semiquaver or pepperoni. Anything that has 4 syllables that fits into one beat is really going to help. If you want to count it out, you can go 1 and 2 and, but it would be very difficult to carry with that counting from beginning to end. So let's try to clap that rhythm. Tiri tiri ta, tiri tiri ta, tiri tiri ta, ti, ti, ta, and it just goes on like that. So 4/16 notes followed by a quarter note, ti, ti, ta, and you have to make sure that the quarter note is being held for a full beat so it doesn't become, and that's the rhythm. And if you internalize that rhythm, we can start adding in the notes. The first bar is two ascending scales, two ascending 5-note scales going from 1 to 5. And many things come into play here. First thing, as always, play with curved fingers, rounded hand shape, and more than ever, play with the fingertips. When we play very quick notes, but in general, we have to make sure that we tap those notes even when we play legato. So it's not dragging the notes, it's not pushing the keys. I see this very often, trying to really push the keys, or even worse, playing with flat fingers. So curved fingers, and very cleanly tapping those notes, but still keeping it legato to get a very clean and crisp key attack. That's what's going to make this piece sound really good. And once you understand that and you can internalize it, then we have these rolls that end up on the staccato. So we're going to do a wrist circle going from the bottom to the top. So the wrist is going to move towards the edge of the hand, towards finger 5. It's not going to stay in one position. That would put tension and pressure on the hand. So we're going to move towards finger 5, and when the scale is descending, we're going to move towards finger 1. So, see? So I'm moving towards the 5 and then bounce up, a rounded motion and a downbeat. So the staccato is really important at the end and connect the final G to the first 4 notes. What I meant at the beginning of the video about these rolls, that they need to be sent off, is that we don't think of these as 4 notes like where each of the 4 notes are equal. We think of the first note as a stone that you throw away into the distance, and the stone, I don't know, lands in the lake on the staccato. So all the notes inside the slur are going to just kind of flow off like almost pearls falling off a necklace. And the first one is the important one. So I'm really thinking about this first note, and the rest is just kind of flowing through towards the G. I'm not thinking about the other notes as individual notes. And again, this is all in the head. Obviously, all of them have to be the same length, but you have to think of it as a group of notes instead of individual notes. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Coming down. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1. Now here we have a little going up and back. Wrist. Again, circling the wrist. And number 3, second 4 bars. Number 2, and number 1. And that's the right hand. So really important to wait for those quarter notes or crotchets with the staccatos, and to have this feeling of rolling through the notes and moving the wrist in the direction of the scale. Now let's add it together. The left hand is really going to count for us, but be careful, because when the left hand bounces up, the right hand has to carry on the legato. So as you can see, I'm still holding down this little finger. Bounce. This staccato, the third one, is going to go together with the legato right hand. So the right hand cannot jump up like this. Okay, so that's about the first bar, and the same applies to the rest. So let's go hands together very slowly. And we get to the second section. The left hand is the same in the second section. We've got the 3 chords the G chord, C chord, and the G7 chord, and the right hand is more or less following the same pattern except for the last 4 bars, where we have an extremely long legato line that has to flow again, just like pearls coming off a necklace, and not having any kind of little hiccups or slips in it. So let's go just the right hand first, starting on number 2. It's a little bit harder because we have to roll around number 4. Number 3. It's almost like a question and an answer. Question. Answer. And now we have this beautiful scale going up and down. And the end. So it's a very long phrase, and you have to make sure the hand is very free and no tension is sneaking in, because then it's going to feel very uneven. You don't want to do that, so don't allow the tension to build up. Go very slowly, and again, let the hand move with the shape of the scale going up and down. It's going to really take off the pressure from your hands. And as you go up, you can do a slight crescendo. As you come down, you can do a diminuendo. So hands together. Now here it gets really hard because the right hand is going to be legato all the way through, but the left hand is bouncing. So you need to keep the right hand glued to the keys. And that's the end of number 16. A really tricky exercise. It's very difficult to play fast. It's definitely a big jump from the previous 3 exercises, especially if played at a faster speed. But even at a lower speed, it requires a lot of concentration and a lot of practice and very correct technique, because as soon as you start playing with flat fingers or tension in the hands, keeping the hands very fixed in one position, it's going to become uneven and very difficult to play.